Europe just unveiled an €860 billion defense plan with a specific requirement by 2030. 50% of all military purchases must come from European or Ukrainian manufacturers. American defense contractors who dominated European military sales for decades are largely shut out of the biggest spending surge since the Cold War. Meanwhile, the US ambassador to NATO criticized the EU's aim of buying more home-produced weapons, and Secretary of State Marco Rubio has been raising expectations that EU countries keep buying American weapons during NATO meetings. The irony writes itself. For years, Trump demanded Europe spend more on defense. Europe is finally spending €860 billion. The United States expected those contracts, but Europe built domestic production capacity instead. I'm Elle of House of Elle on YouTube. I have a PhD in computer science, and I use data analysis to spot patterns in geopolitics and economics. When we look at the actual procurement data, the scale of this shift becomes very clear. Germany's new military plan shows 154 major defense purchases through 2026, with only 8% going to US suppliers. That is a dramatic change from recent years when Berlin was one of Washington's biggest defense buyers. Poland's purchases tell the opposite story. From 2022 to 2024, Polish demand via US foreign military sales amounted to over $55 billion, representing 30% of all European demand from American suppliers. The financial mechanisms reveal what is actually happening here, so let's dig into that. Europe's plan includes €150 billion in safe loans, fully subscribed by 90 member states, with requirements favoring European manufacturers. American firms are locked out unless Washington negotiates agreements with Brussels, which hasn't happened so far. By 2027, the plan requires 40% of purchases to be joint European procurement. By 2030, that rises to 55% European-made. After years working with economic systems, this looks like deliberate industrial policy rather than military necessity. Europe isn't just buying weapons, they're building permanent manufacturing capacity. The difference matters because capacity persists beyond individual purchase orders. Once Europe establishes production lines for tanks, missiles, and drones, those facilities don't just disappear when the current threat recedes. I actually wrote a book on analyzing exactly these kinds of disconnects between political narratives and actual data. It's called Awake: The Practice of Critical Thinking in an Age of Self-Lies. It's available in ebook and audiobook formats. Subscribers get 10% off, and you can get the first chapter free through the links in the description. There's also a video that I'm going to link where you can explore more information around this. If we put the European defense startup data next to the government procurement numbers, something interesting emerges. European defense technology startups raised almost $9 billion in 2025, which is a record year. Companies like Frankenberg Technologies and Estonia are building AI-based anti-drone systems. German groups Titan Technologies and Quantum Systems are scaling drone production. The urgency is real. Europe needs to be able to defend itself against Russia with or without American support. But there's a contradiction embedded in the funding structure. Over one-third of capital raised by European defense startups in 2025 came from North American investors. Quantum Systems, which received €150 million in European Investment Bank financing, counts Peter Thiel among its early investors. The surveillance drone company is backed by European funds like Project A and HV Capital, but also needed American venture capital to scale properly. The pattern becomes clear when you track where the money isn't coming from. Venture capital investment in defense over the past decade is 8.5 times bigger in the US than in Europe. European pension funds won't invest in weapons manufacturing due to ethical concerns. Many European financial institutions still have restrictions requiring technology be dual use rather than solely military. Meanwhile, European governments continue spending primarily on conventional weapons from established players rather than innovative startups. A Bruegel report found that defense procurement in selected European countries goes primarily to the 10 biggest companies, with less than 30% of total order volume going to other firms. So Europe announces strategic autonomy from American weapons while relying slightly on American capital to fund the startups building that autonomy. European governments pledge €860 billion for defense, but sometimes buy from legacy contractors rather than the innovative companies developing the technologies modern warfare actually requires. We've documented similar contradictions before. Switzerland rejected Palantir's surveillance technology 9 times over 7 years, demonstrating what genuine tech sovereignty looks like. We have a separate video on that. I'm going to link it now. France stopped using Microsoft products across government systems. Europe is systematically building alternatives to American technology infrastructure. I'm going to link that video as well on the France decoupling. The defense sector shows the same impulse toward independence, but with kind of incomplete execution for now. The American response reveals how unexpected this shift was. The US State Department warned that European preference in procurement would undermine European rearmament and weaken NATO interoperability and readiness, their words. The Pentagon stated that excluding American companies would contradict the 2025 Joint Trade Statement and bilateral defense agreements signed by 19 of 27 EU countries. If Brussels implements new restrictions, the United States will review all existing exemptions under the Buy American Act for European companies. The White House complaint is remarkable for what it reveals: protectionist and exclusionary policies that strong-arm American companies out of the market when Europe's largest defense firms continue to greatly benefit from market access in the United States are the wrong course of action. That was a specific quote from them. This from the same administration launching trade tariff wars, by the way. The numbers show why Washington is concerned. In fiscal year 2024, the United States sold weapons, equipment, and defense services worth a record $318.7 billion, approximately 28% higher than 2023. Between 2017 and 2021, foreign military sales to European allies averaged $11 billion. In 2024, that reached $68 billion. From 2022 to 2024, European NATO countries' foreign military sales notifications represented 15.7% of their spending on military equipment, compared to 27.83% from 2019 to 2021. Europe was America's fastest growing defense export market. Now that market is implementing policies to replace American suppliers with European ones. The technology gap complicates Europe's autonomy claims. Europe still depends on American weapon systems, particularly advanced fighters. There is no current European equivalent to the F-35 stealth fighter until the late 2030s at earliest, and European countries have already ordered hundreds of them. 19 European countries operate the US-made Patriot missile defense system. While Europe has the SAMP-T air defense systems with comparable performance, only France and Italy currently operate it. So what's going to happen next? Europe will probably continue buying specific high-end American systems while building domestic capability for everything else. These changes don't just happen overnight, but the intention is definitely there. The 860 billion euro spending surge will create permanent European industrial infrastructure that reduces American market share over the next decade. European startups will probably remain partly dependent on American venture capital until European pension funds and institutional investors overcome ethical restrictions on weapons manufacturing. The United States will probably struggle to reverse this trend because the Trump administration's own rhetoric drove Europe towards strategic autonomy in the first place. When you spend years telling allies to handle their own defense, then complain when they build the capacity to do exactly that, you kind of reveal that the goal wasn't European self-sufficiency, but American market access. For more on how Europe is systematically decoupling from American technology infrastructure, check out the video on your screen right now on how Germany is building alternative tech structures specifically to circumvent using American systems. Thank you all so much for watching, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.